Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the canyon. Welcome back to more of the horse voice. Let me start off where we should. We are in the depths of a traditional desert summer. It was 77 degrees at 6 o'clock in the morning. You have to sleep with a fan blowing directly on your face, or you will sweat yourself awake. To add to the fun bonus of that, this building in which we are standing together right now is basically built on a pier foundation, concrete piers with 2x6s atop them. So not a crawl space, too narrow to be a crawl space, but plenty big enough for things like rabbits to get under. Something's dead under the floor. If you've never gotten to savor the wonder of something dead under the floor, it's not good. Also, when the daytime high is 112, it's really not good. It's bad. So, continuing in the spirit of bad, where I have no expectations. My expectations are not low, they are no. GMade Into the Breach once again. MT-1902s. These are the tires that come on the sawback. We did most recently the 1901s. We will most futurely do the 1903s. And then we're going to stop abusing our good friend Lord Pentabee, first of his name, as the remaining tires that we have are 2.2s, which are Bighorns and 2202s. So, that one, the Bighorn, and then, well, the 1903. The 1903 is a question mark. We don't know. It is the Swamper type one. This is, I don't know, it's a tire. It's got a tread pattern on it. I don't specifically know what the tread pattern is. These have a very broad lip, so the halves kind of just fall in, but the lip is broad to the point that it can, will, and does just squirt the tire out of the beadlock ring. So this is not a bubble juice tire, definitely doesn't need it because the lip is so wide. What it does need is you put like 3 of the screws in, and when I say put them in, I mean just enough to catch thread, and then you make sure nothing has fallen out. If I did not mention a moment ago that they are ventilated, they are indeed ventilated. 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock positions, I use a 4mm setting on the leather punch. These have actually been on the rocks. The 1901s were fresh out of the bag. The 1903s are fresh out of the bag. These have been on the rocks, and they were fitted to the aforementioned GMade Sawback leaf sprung version. There is also the Sawback LS, which is not the leaf spring one. LS would make me think leaf spring. It's confusing, right? Sawback LS is the 4-link one. I mean, just regular Sawback is the leaf. You would think Sawback LS would be the leaf one. So we've got our friend here, Lord Pentabee, who is losing parts all the time. The test and evaluation on the 1901 cost him that door handle. So, like, this body looks like it's been around, yeah. Don't let me forget. I'm leaving it to you that we need to put one of them on the tire sizer to see where we're at. They look like class 1s. Does the sidewall make any claims? 108 by 40. Again, is it Enduro SE? Is it he's the Bronco Baseline's baby brother? That's BBBBB for those following. I couldn't remember it in the last one. I couldn't remember it. Regular, you know, the ubiquitous Amazon 105 for wheel. That is a 24mm ring. We try to test pretty much everything on the same on the same exact wheel. Probably have 8 sets of these. But they've done it again. 108! 108! I seem to remember exclaiming that the 1901 was the... If it's 40 wide, man. If it's 40 wide. You know what? It's 41. It's 41, but I'll count it. Good. Now, what was not mentioned? That is not the GMade foam. That is a J Concepts medium class 1 foam from a J Concepts. I used to have the pile right here behind me. GMade just uses the strip of foam that is cut to length and it goes around like that. If you can use a strip of foam, or don't, unless you absolutely have to. Just use a round foam. That way they're consistent all the way around. No matter what, the strips of foam will try to bunch up and they will try to slide. And there will always, if you do this on one where it's a strip, you'll go, there it is. You'll always be able to find out where the seam is. So I think I threw them all away already. I had 3 1901s, 1902s, and 1903s. I had 12 foam strips. And the beauty of the 12 foam strips, you could take one in each hand. Pretend that these aren't donuts. Pretend these are strips. You could go like this and go, yeah, this one's stiffer. And then grab 2 more and go, yeah, this one's stiffer. No, maybe this one's a little stiffer. They were just cutting foam off of a roll. So we will hope that, we will hope, but hopes and wishes, right? It's not going to affect the performance, I don't think. I try not to make a foregone conclusion, but the 1902s on the sawback were terrible. Now, it was leaf. So this isn't really a how good is the MT-1902. This is a establishment of a hierarchy. We've got the 1901, the 1902, and the 1903, and also previously tested in older episodes, the 1904 and the 1905. Now, so far, the 1901 has been the worst, markedly. The 1905 was the best, markedly. The 1904 is pretty okay. So, if the numbers make sense, the 1902 should be bad, but slightly better than the 1901. And then the 1903, wild card. It could be somewhere in the middle. It is a swamper, still sitting right here. It's a swamper, but it does have the look and feel of something that you would buy on Amazon for $14. So, we can't get to that one until we've gotten to this one. Right about now, to the rocks with the GMade MT-1902. Hey Siri, what is a fear of ants called?
Here's some information.
Oh man, myrmecophobia is the inexplicable fear or hatred of ants. If you suffer from myrmecophobia, which I don't think is something I'm going to be able to remember, you're going to want to get that addressed before you ever try to make a visit to the canyon, because I realize, yes, I've built an oasis just out of frame to the right. You can hear it burbling away as the waterfall and the pond. And an amount of Argentine ants that is basically unbelievable. The plant, let's see if we can do a pan here. So the Palo Verde tree, see this big, very green fellow right here? It hangs down nice and low, and it hangs down in such a way that my hat brushes against it, and on the lip of my hat right there, right there, there's pretty much constantly an ant walking on my hat. There he is. Or a spider. Arachnophobia, that one we can remember, right? So, back to the topic of the MT-1902. We're going to try to take it light and breezy today. Props to the J Concepts Class 1 foam. He looks real good moving across the ground. Where my workbench is, I have leftover bamboo flooring that wasn't used for the house. and then it transitions to one of it is a piece of carpet that was a carpet cut off when my kids' rooms were carpeted, and then that goes to a rug that used to be in the kitchen. So all the cast off rugs and stuff go on the floor in the workshop. These don't even grip on carpet. So, oh no. Wait, hold on. No. No, not at all. Not even a little bit at all. Now remember, with a tire like this, we're going to be dealing potentially with some very low numbers. If a tire cannot accomplish, so I know where the easiest cuts are to get up Slick Rock. There's one right. Oh no. There's, oh my goodness. Right? Okay, so this would be a bypass. It can't even do the bypass. Just listen to that, if you will. Like a machine gun. How much can we dial into that? Wide open. All right. I mean, I can go on early record and say this is worse. I mean, this is genuinely impressive. Now you might say, well, it's an automatic 5. It can't make it, right? Here's why it's not an automatic 5. Watch this. Does it slide back? No. It can make it to right there. But, I mean, look. There's another ant on my hat already, and I haven't even touched anything. Myrmecophobia. All right. So, we're going to go deep into academia. Follow me, if you will. 7.5 if you can do it, but just barely 5 if you can't do it at all. Halfway between that is a 6.25, so we'll round up 6.3. And you'd say, well, why a 6.3? Well, because on wet, I don't think it's going to be able to get the rear wheels up off of the flat. So we need something that we can go below, because if I say forward drive is a 5, and then the wet forward drive is even worse, we can't go below 5. You know what I'm saying? We've set a bottom line, not a baseline, a bottom line that we cannot go below. Side hill is going to be very interesting. So out here, where I have to sit for Undertaker, instead of ants, it's gnats. We have potential here. And the potential is not for the greater good. What we have the potential here is to see the worst. We may see, so I want to say it's the Remo Hobby 1071. I think that's the number. That is the lowest scoring tire we've ever seen. Okay. All right. It's already not a 5. We have two lines. We can take the center cut up Daphne's, which is more difficult. That's right here. We have the right hand, and then we have that left hand. So it's like a tri-fork. This is kind of the bonus line that we send rigs on if they show that they have any capability. That was fun. No, I just absolutely cannot get up that. Period. So it's a 7.5 on one side and a 5 on the other, which gives us that. Which gives us a good friend the 6.3. The thing is, there's gonna be some 5s, so we're definitely going below a 63 total on this. It's just how far below it are we gonna go? Most test sections have 2 aspects. You test one and the other, and we put the scores together. It's just going to be like self-right and bump is going to determine where this thing lands in the 50s or the 60s. 50s is almost unimaginably bad. We're going to have to go to a strike system, because I think I'm more fascinated by the lack of ability to be found in really bad tires. No. Than I am in the excess of ability found in really good tires. Oh man. That's so bad. They're slippery, but they also, when they fold, you lose all stability. So the amount of forward drive that you just saw at the 2 obstacles prior, that is effectively maximized forward drive. We can't get more than that. And it's terrible. We can't even get onto the side hill. Also, we're not going to see a good... Okay, this is the last one. This is 4 strikes. One was the umpire missed the call. So it was a strike, but he called it a ball. It was touching the zone. I just want to see if I can even get onto the side hill itself. We can't make the transition onto the side. Look at the slide. It's only gripping in a way I don't want it to grip. This tire cannot side hill. This is, I'm doing that thing where you stare into blank space because your brain is trying to access memories. This might be unprecedented. I think in terms of pure scoring, I think these have the opportunity to unseat everything in terms of just like, how can someone set out to make a tire and fail so completely? I love a movie that's bad enough to come around and be good again. This tire is so bad. It's basically, it's unbelievable. Also, the lug noise is catastrophic. We cannot generate enough traction to even make it over this. You get to a spot, if there is any mechanical interference at all, if plastic is touching, these tires do not have enough traction to overcome that. I have a fly and 2 ants on me. You could go to any obstacle here and just put it on cruise control and just what? Just imagine how much coffee is flying out of the top of his tumbler. It's genuinely okay. There it is. There it is. Nope. They grab when you don't want them to grab. And when you put them in a position where you could use, okay, there's so much crossweight loading on those tires right now, particularly driver rear. How can it not get out of this? Unbelievable. It is literally, I'm sorry, I need to be more British. He's alive. It's literally unbelievable. There was a flicker of an instance where I saw a 6.3. I don't see this thing doing anything well enough from here forward to get his final score even into the 60s. I can't see it. Will it be worse than the Remo Hobby? The Remo Hobby was so bad that I've somehow forgotten it. So when the overnight low is 77, the ants don't even go to bed. They just stay up all night. You know, they rugged me. I felt like for a split second, oh my goodness, it's gonna make this. It did. It did. Get off of me. Oh, it's just out of control. How? Okay. I mean, I don't know how any of that just happened. Boy, I got real lucky on the breech. I was wrong. There are the gnats at Undertaker, and then there's what I've got going on right now. Stop it. Oh. I can't even speak. Ears, nose, mouth, eyes, all 7 holes. Gnats, come on. You can't make it, can you? No, not even. Okay, the self-right though. The self-right. I gotta do. No, we gotta do it again. So a 5 and a 7.5 gets us a 6.3, but now we need halfway between a 5 and a 6.3. What is that? Be 5.7? 5.6? We'll call it a 5.6. It managed to do 1 out of 4 things. So we will call that a 5.6. We'll see how the microphone handles the mourning doves that are out here this morning. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, whatever that was, it just bit me. No, not a chance. Not a chance under the sun. No, you can. It only grips when and where you do not want it to. So I want that front, and just as soon as I put any steering attitude in it, it just kicks. So not only is it very low grip. Oh, now we've got gnats, mosquitoes, and ants. No, you're not. No, you did not. What? What? No way. I knew there would be. And then you get that. I knew it was going to do at least one thing that would give me a no way. And that pull on soft side was not. What? Is this thing going to pull a score on an obstacle above a 7? No, I don't think it will. I think you got to witness something. You got to truly witness something. No, we're not getting through there. That's not awful. That's pretty flat. Yeah. No tire can be the worst at everything. Except apparently the Remo hobby. I need to go back and try to find my own episode to see how bad that tire truly was. See? It's not the best self-right I've ever seen, but it's also certainly not a 5 or a 6. 2, and then catch it up. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm crestfallen that we're not giving it a 5 here. Yeah, that was pretty good. All right. So you can get some real pinwheel action. So Daphne's third, I got to go with a 6.3 because it did it. Self-right, let's be fair. That's like I'm going to give an 8.4 on that. And in the bump, I'm going to give an 8.2 on that. That bump was solidly okay, particularly in a relatively low traction area. It is not wet, and it will not be wet here for another 5 months. But I can tell you this now. These tires, in any kind of wet soil, even if we're not just getting to, let's just call it loam. These would load up with loam. If it's mud, forget about it. They have effectively a monoblock tread. The tread is fairly shallow, so it will build up the gaps between the lugs quickly. And then these tires will become even slipperier than they are now. This might be, I mean, aside from self-righting and getting a little bump action, on some mixed surface, that might be the only thing these are any good at. They're short enough that they're not compromising stability that much. They do hurt the turn circle. Like I have noticed, because there's so much slip and slide, the turning circle on the Lord here is 50% wider because they're just skating across the ground. As I said, they don't even grip on carpet. If I go to anywhere other than that little slot we can get up, the gnats, my God, bring me back the ants. This is the definition of a 7.5. It can do it, but my God, is it not good at it. Again, we're 3.4 points. Not the biggest we've seen, but 3.4 point, what is that, a spread? Lowest and highest score? That's a lot. I've had a small reconsideration, I think. We'll see. Any mechanical interference. He should be able to turn around completely in frame, and they just slide. They can't handle side load of any kind. And it's not because the foam is not firm enough. I'm just noticing it now. Yeah, you can see it. I'll point it out because the hose is probably going to wash a lot of it off. But if you look right there and right there, that's rubber. That's rubber. We've spun rubber off onto the surface. So, okay. I had a notion in the middle here. There we go. It doesn't really matter how wet we get it. I think any moisture at all. There you go. What the water did was take away any tiny little bit of traction that these might have been able to exhibit. So that 6.3 that I initially gave it Slick Rock, that is actually a 5.6. This is a 5.0. We'll do the 7.5 there. So 11.9, 10, 11.9, 16.6, 12.5, 21.9, 28.5 is 49, 50.4, and 12.5 is 62.9. Because the quest continues forever. Somewhere out there, at least in theory, there exists a tire so bad that we could get into, if not 50, then the low 50s. Like, we've got a decent amount of side lug on this tire, so we can self-right pretty well. I was genuinely surprised by that bump performance, but what is bump performance really exhibiting? The insert. And J Concept's Class 1 single stage foams are pretty good. They're pretty strongly okay. That's why I don't throw them away. Because if you just take a megalithic or a tusk and run it on the foam that it comes with, you know what? It's pretty good. It's pretty solidly okay. The carcass is so thick and the compound is so bad that despite Lord Pennaby weighing around 7.5 pounds, you see basically no deflection in the tires. And the foam doesn't go to work until such a point that the tire is already distorted or deflected to the point where you're just not going to get any traction out of it. Honestly, I feel like 62.9 is high for this tire. I could in my head, I see this tire as like a 57, as very nearly as bad as a tire can be. It's so bad that it's impressive, because in previous installments of things like the Dumb, where we've run tires inside out, where we've glued foams to wheels and just driven on foams, where we've taken drag slicks onto the rocks, they've all done better than what this tire did. At that point, you have to start to feel like it's on purpose, right? Like, you can't do this on accident. How do you make a tire that bad? You would want to say, it's a tire for a toy car. It can't be that hard, right? Like, what could be the cost differential between making something that's actually functional versus making those, which are 62.9? We've tested a tire that on the same scale is a 99. Like, it's unthinkable. You do the Childish Gambino, the Donald Glover. Your eyes get really wide and you don't look at anything in particular, because it's mind-boggling how these can be so bad. The 1901 and the 1902, I cannot actively remember the score. I just erased it off the board like 30 minutes ago. I cannot actively remember what the 1901 got, but I want to say the 1902 is worse. So the 1905, realistic, 1904s are okay. 1905 is the only GMade tire I would softly recommend. I wouldn't say, get them over this. Once again, the J Concept's Tusk is a thing that exists. And it's available in 393, 419, 475-525-575. 7-inch for the SCX6. They have two different sizes for 1.3 and 1.0, and there's a reason. If you see a tire that exists in every size imaginable, there's probably a good reason for that. The Canyon Trail is generally treated as the baseline, the above or below line, and the Tusk is treated as you got to do something both good and right in order to beat it. And I don't think any of the GMades qualify for that. I mean, Tusks are under $30 a pair, too. Also, comp pins exist. XHX pins exist. Come on. These tires are so bad that they should only be used as an exhibition of this, a satisfaction of the Pokemon, the Ash Ketchum, gotta catch 'em all. I can only manage to steel to gird my loins up enough to do like one of these a week because I know how bad they're going to be. Now, at some point in the future, people, I have to test the 2202, the 2.2 version of this. How bad can that possibly be? We'll find that out together at some point in the future. The sun has just burst through the little bit of clouds that were making the morning survivable. So I thank you for joining me in this one. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. I hope that in between now and then, you do, one and all, try your very best to have a good one, everybody. We'll see you next time here from the Canyon. Lord Pentabee, I do apologize. At some point, we've got to put a Class 1 tire on him that doesn't make the whole world sad.